Hey guys, Joe here, doing a one take on a Monday. I know, I'm sorry. I'm still recovering from working the extra days last week, and on top of which, all I had ready were gun videos, and I don't want to put up two in a row. So, today we're going to be talking about my workstation, which you can see is partially disassembled. And why is it partially disassembled? Good question, Joe. Thanks, Joe. All right, Joe. Here's the reason. Something happened. No, what actually happened was I was filming a video for a gun, the Mossberg, which you actually saw if you look and clicked up there. And during that video, I was sitting here and I decided to go ahead and power on the system because it's just been sitting. I took the hard drives out to test some other components, and I haven't been using it for editing much because my legs have been bothering me, so I've been editing from my big screen TV and my computer by that. So I decided to power it on to make sure that the pump doesn't get stagnant, the fluid doesn't sit too long, and doesn't give anything a chance to go pop. Well, something went pop. As I was doing the tabletop, I turned it on, went back to this, about 5 minutes later, and I'll have to see if I have the footage, I might not. All of a sudden I heard a, that's all it was, just a, and when I looked over there, it was dribbling fluid down from the CPU block. So I immediately turned it off, took the computer into the kitchen, put it in the sink, drained it as fast as I could without letting too much crap get all over it, and then went to work. It's really annoying. So I came back, and today I started taking stuff apart because I wanted to see what actually failed, because it seems to have been a pressure problem, and I have a culprit, but it's not what I originally thought. Originally, I thought it was the CPU block. This is an XSPC Raystorm block, and I've used it on like 10, 11 different versions of Red Devil so far, and I reused it again. It was still working fine, and it turns out it's actually a pretty good water block. It flows really well. I thought it was a cheap Chinese one, but no, Raystorms are pretty okay. Well, there was a little bit of crap stuck in it, as you can see there underneath that finger there. Move my face so I'm not, there we go. That was all that was inside the CPU block. So I was happy, but then I was still frustrated because I didn't know where the problem lied, or lay. So then I started looking at other stuff, and I took the graphics card out, and there's still a little bit of coolant on the PCIe slot. I need to actually pull that and clean it with alcohol and get it nice and make sure there's nothing that can conduct electricity when it powers back on. But I also went ahead and disassembled my GTX 770. This was a, well, it still works, a GTX 770 classified by EVGA. This is a 4GB model. It's actually designed for LN2. It has 3 different BIOSes on it, you know, dual 8 pins. This was actually a pretty good card, and with 4 gags of VROM buffer, it actually performed pretty well. And I used to run these in SLI. Well, I only put the one in, and I decided to take it apart because it was covered in coolant, and I did clean it off. One thing you can do, you can use water to clean crap off of a circuit board. However, you want to make sure that it's absolutely dry and no water sits, because that's how you get damage to your components. So I then went and basically gave it an alcohol bath, using brushes and toothbrushes and all that stuff. You can see it actually ate some of the sticker doing that, in order to guarantee that the water evaporated, so that when it was done evaporating, it wouldn't cause any shorts and wouldn't corrode the motherboard, or the board. Sorry, not motherboard. Technically, if you put another board on it, it would become a motherboard. Oh well. But I've thrown that in the system, and it does work. So what I initially thought was that pressure was coming up through the graphics card, because the flow was up through the card into the input, out of the output, into the radiator, back into the pump. So the inlet to the CPU is what popped off, so I thought there must be a pressure problem in the plate. And when that didn't happen, then I went on to the GPU plate, and I've disassembled the GPU, as I just showed you. And as you can see, there is a significant amount of crud built up in the water channels, or the jets, or whatever you would call it for that, as well as this has dual water channels because it also cools the power delivery as well, and they're bad, but they're not bad enough to cause that pressure problem. So that led me to the final piece of the puzzle, which was the radiator. And the radiator is clogged like a mofo. I tried flushing it out using water, and yeah, nothing is coming out of it, or nothing is going into it. So I think some crap got by everything and managed to lodge itself in that radiator, which is kind of sad because I've used that radiator a few times. But yeah, I think that radiator is bad, so I'm gonna have to run some kind of flush through it and clean it out and see what I can do. What that means for the future of this computer is it's going to go air cooled, and I'm going to put a GTX 780 on it. I still want to use it as a secondary computer, and if I go air cooled or at least AIO cooled, then I can put different components on it, such as different graphics cards to test stuff on older boards, like when I tested the Q66 video plug. And then I'll be able to use it for much more different stuff, and it'd be less crowded in there because I can pull that radiator as well as the pump out, and then free up some room, maybe make my own hard drive cage or something. So yeah, that was the video I wanted to make today because I was very frustrated by the fact that it failed, and I was annoyed, and between those two things, erg man. Leave it down in the comments if you've had like a major failure like that yourself in the past, what you did to fix it, and what your feelings are towards, you know, continuing to water cool. Personally, I don't care. I'll keep doing it. It was a unfortunate thing that happened with components that have been sitting. So something that can happen, something I should have known would happen, and something I probably could have prevented a little bit better by doing a better flush of that before I put it in. I'm going to go. If you guys like this video, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Go over there, click on the little icon to subscribe, or down below where the red subscribe banner is. You can also click on notifications to get notified when I make new videos. I make videos Mondays and Fridays, and I usually throw something up on Wednesday just because I feel weird. Coming up this Friday will be update on the tune-up for the Mustang. I'm going to do plugs and fix the whiny noise. Not just the one behind the wheel, the one under the hood. So, until next time, I'll talk to you later.